everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. And today I'm gonna be creating this Senegalese villa. And I've never been so excited to make a build since my Metropolis build. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, I was on a building high ever since I made that. Yeah, like 2 days ago. That video actually took me 3 days. The Metropolis one, go watch it if you wanna. That took me 3 days to do, and roundabout altogether it was like 5.5 hours of footage. This was 3 hours of footage. I wasn't even expecting it to be that long because I made this almost like a snack. I did it as a snack. I did it because I wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to create something, and I did this as a snack. I was not expecting it to take so long. I was expecting it to be a max an hour and a half, but I should have expected um longer since it did take me an hour to do the shell itself. But yeah, I'm creating the Senegalese villa, and what inspired it was I was going through TikTok and I saw this really beautiful slideshow of this house within Senegal, and it was on the coast. It was red, it had a pool, it had a lot of very wooden elements to it. You can tell it was entirely clay, and I thought it looked absolutely amazing. So I was like, okay, I have to create this. The villa is called Villa Amara, if I'm not mistaken, and I do have all of the information with me because I actually looked into it quite a bit because I saw it and I really, really wanted to create it. And it had been a long, long time since I diversified my content a little bit. I'm trying to do it a little bit more because originally what I was doing a lot of was basically either stuff that is coming out alongside the expansion pack that is coming out, or I was creating stuff that I don't know. I don't think my content was as diverse as it was last year. Last year, I was making anything and everything. Last year, I made Gotham. Again, I will never stop talking about that. Even though Metropolis is now out, I'll never stop talking about that Gotham build. I made Gotham. I made a utopia. I made a castle. I made a medieval village. I made a street in Zimbabwe. I made a high school. I made a London townhouse. I made a Yorkshire Dale village. Like, I did so many different diverse things last year, and then when I was just looking at what I've done this year, it's like, come on, I can step up my game a little bit. So I found an excuse to do that, and yeah, so that's what I decided to do. Again, guys, I hope my audio is okay. I'm just trying my best, being as far away from the mic, using a different setup, all that kind of thing. So I really do hope my audio is okay this time around. And I'm also trying not to smile too much as I'm talking, because when I smile too much as I'm talking like this, I don't really enunciate my words as much as if I'm just ambiently grinning as I am right now. So, okay, this is some of the information I have on what inspired this build. So, this is Villa Amara. It's Senegalese villa. I made it a bit differently towards what actual Senegalese architecture is like, somewhat. It's very diverse as all architecture is, but from what I could research, a lot of the Senegalese architecture is angular, triangular to be specific, or it can be rounded. So that's the one thing I'll say that I kind of really diverted off of because I was not trying to fight my game today and try and make like loads of round corners, or make any round corners actually, or make anything triangular or anything like that. So I was like, I'm not fighting my game today. Let's just make it a typical block house, but try and implement as many Senegalese techniques and generally mostly West African techniques as I can in order to create this home. So, a few key details about this architecture and this kind of style of home is that there is a lot of environmental aspects to it. So, it is, I think there's a huge push within the Western world at the moment where we are trying to incorporate a lot more sustainable ways of architecture and interior design. And we're basically trying to revolutionize things, but we're not really looking at the countries that have already kind of mastered the art. And a lot of these countries that have mastered the art is um, not only just Western Africa, and most of like the continent of Africa, but a lot of Asian countries as well. I know that Thailand has a lot of traditional Thai homes have mastered the art quite a bit. I've seen not only just that, but also working with the environment. So I know that a lot of Chinese homes built into the mountains have mastered the art of working with the environment and making these homes that if flooding was to happen, if hurricanes were to happen, you don't need to worry about recovery or anything like that because they worked with the environment. Not only that, but because they've worked with the environment in these homes, you don't need to worry about too much about climate change because when you don't fight against what the earth has provided to protect you, you have that protection. Now, do I think this is always the case? No, because there is a lot of regions that regardless if you try and maintain its geography, it is just gonna be a very terrible region to live in. But I think a lot of places you can just try and work with it rather than fight against it. And that is a lot of key aspects that you see within Senegalese homes. Especially when they go quite adventurous within the architecture because it gets more expansive, which can be kind of counterproductive when you talk about sustainability, but it really does work together. And then they just implement new innovative ways of doing it, and also honor a lot of traditional ways, such as having a lot of the airways and open spaces and stuff like that, in order to create again a sustainable home without having to use AC. I think it's just so cool. Other styles as well is Adobe homes in a lot of with a lot of Native American houses and a lot of houses within South America are just chef's kiss when it comes to sustainability. And I think I want to make more houses in the Sims that can maybe inspire you guys if you guys have the money. I'm not saying you guys don't have money, but I'm saying to build a house is a lot of money. But if you guys have the money, I want to inspire you guys into looking into I want to inspire you guys into looking into just sustainable homes and stuff like that. And again, it is a privilege to have a sustainable home because more often than not, you need to build it yourself. That's going to take a lot of money and you need to be very purposeful with it. And the other big issue with sustainable homes, specifically in the Western world, is that you need to find a remote area in order to do that, which is just causing a whole bunch of mess because now your driving journey is much longer. Now to get resources, you have to hoard them a lot more. You've got more unpredictable environments because normally the place you would end up finding that's open enough to do a sustainable home may not necessarily have the best climate just because if it had the perfect climate, people would be living there, but it probably doesn't. So it's probably like a lot of deserty areas. Like I know in America, it's a lot of Arizona, a lot of Utah, that kind of area. And within the UK, I think the UK, you can virtually live anywhere. Yeah, you can virtually, there's a lot of green sites, which I absolutely love, and I don't think we should be getting rid of our green sites. I think we've got a lot of brown field sites and a lot of empty homes that we can just refurbish and utilize to make sustainable homes. We don't need to touch the green side because you'll be surprised with the amount of empty homes there are in the UK. I'm not going to go down into that topic, but there is a lot. Anyway, so the creators of this house that I saw in TikTok, I'm so sorry if I don't pronounce it perfectly well, but I know it is Cyrus Ardalan, and this was created for Malik Bodayan. And they are the inspirations for the house that I saw in TikTok. And there is a lot of key aspects within the house that I also would have liked to include as well. Like they had a like sunken pit for the conversation pit. So they actually had it sunken in and I thought that was a whole bunch of fun. But I made, as I was going along, I don't know if you see how I get a struggle a little bit. I do end up noticing that I did choose quite a small lot in terms of width wise, but the problem is that with the Sims, and this will always be my issue with the Sims, I want to create something that doesn't look massive but the interior I basically want a TARDIS at the end of the day. It feels like I want a TARDIS because I don't want the outside to be massive, but I do want to have that space on the inside in order to do different things. So, for example, I wanted it to be very open in order to resemble how the Senegalese architecture normally has this open space kind of form in order to just allow the air to flow in without air conditioning and stuff like that. So, I wanted this open space kind of layout, but it wasn't gonna completely work with big rooms as well, unless I knocked down walls. And one of the biggest issues you can see in this build is regarding the bedrooms. Like the bedrooms, I would have 110% had them way bigger than they are in order to not make you feel as claustrophobic. But then I would have had to sacrifice the exterior looking a bit bigger, and I just didn't want to do that. So that's why we do have quite small bedrooms. But if you do have Sims that are couples or anything like that, just have one Sim get in and they will just scooch over to the side closest to the window or the wall, and then your second Sim can sleep in. But if you know you've got a troublesome Sim that likes to wake up a lot in the middle of the night, you might want them to go into the bed last because they won't be able to leave if the other Sim is still sleeping. I wish there was a feature, and the Sims community, the Sims team, if you're listening to me, I wish there was a feature. I love the crawling over feature. It was one of my favorite things. It's one of the reasons why I even decided to go for the Sims 4, because you allow me to do this. That is such a cool feature. But what I really wish that we could have as well is the ability for a Sim to crawl over the other Sim. I think that would be such a fun interaction. And since we're able to have cuddling in the Sims again and all of that kind of thing, I think it would be possible. I don't know. I don't code. I don't know anything about coding. I wish I could, because there is a so many mods I would love to make, but I can't. So if we can't have that, it'll suck, but it'll be really cool to have it. And I feel like that should be a base game update as well, because that would have gone in Lovestruck, but Lovestruck is already out. So a lot of the description for this home is just basically talking about how it works with the environment, how there's no air conditioning, but there's a lot of natural light, smart airflow. This is quote like for verbatim. And it also talks about how it was shaped by the local craftspeople, which I absolutely love the whole concept of getting hands on with the people that you're working with. I think it's also a concept I really, as you guys know, I love working. I've now got a job in TV, which I'm so happy about. And I love working in TV and film, and I do believe in having certain amount of the team pushed into different areas when you're filming abroad and stuff like that, because I had to do a whole certificate regarding it. I think it is important and integral in order for the plan to have a good majority of the home team going out in order to do that, but in order to save again sustainability with flights and everything like that, and to boost the local economy, it is also great to get a good amount of help from the local people as well. Just because you can improve that local basis, you can connect. If you don't care about, just helping people for the sake of helping people, you can also do it for the sake of just connecting communities and knowing that you now have another base to go to every single time you want to film a certain type of scene, so that you can just spend far less when it comes to travel costs and all of that. Like, wouldn't that be more fun? But yeah, I love the whole idea of having local people helping out, creating something. It's a whole bunch of fun, and I think that's a really cool aspect of this villa as well. It looks like that's all I kind of noted down about it, because it was really hard to find like a particularly distinctive aspect. As you can see, if you do research the villa around, it isn't what I've got is not exactly one to one, obviously, because I couldn't do the whole rounded shapes and everything like that. I did want to do the swing around pool, and I didn't know whether to do walls around the house, just because I don't necessarily like putting walls around the house because it kind of blocks light. But the way it ended up coming out in the end, it did have the vibe it had in the video, so I'm really happy with that. And I didn't get to put sun lounge just because, again, I made it too small. But if that's something you want to add, completely up to you guys. Always modify my builds. I love seeing what you guys do with my builds. The other day I was just rewatching a video I remember that I saw during the heightened period of apartment building, where another YouTube creator featured my apartment that I built and featured a way to use mods in order to make it functional. regarding the convenience store, the laundromat, and the restaurant. And I just thought that was just such a cool video. I like seeing how you guys decorate the empty apartments. I like seeing what you guys modify, what you guys tweak, and everything like that. So if you ever do anything like that, I don't know I don't know how you can notify me because I'm really bad with my notifications. If you haven't been able to tell with how many comments I still need to reply to, the comments go all the way back to November. And it's not that I don't see them. It's just unless they're like urgent, like girly, this build doesn't function. I'm always like, okay, I can come back and say thank you. I need to build at the moment, or I need to apply for a job. But now, since I don't need to necessarily apply for a job, I still need one because this one is not full time. I still want another one to get more money, obviously. But since I don't have to do it quite as desperately as I had to before, I have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna try and work my way through my comments. I do read them though, and I do appreciate everything you guys say. Um, Even if it's just a simple heart, I really appreciate you guys just showing your appreciation, even just watching the video all the way through or liking it or whatever. I really do appreciate that. So don't think I don't. If I'm very slow at replying to content, I'm just always like, okay, I want to build. I'm gonna give them. I feel like I don't know. You guys tell me, but I feel like it's kind of better to just continuously bring out content and refer back to the comment. But I will try and be better and reply to the comments because I don't want you guys to think that I don't appreciate the time and effort it takes, because you don't need to. Like, a lot of people don't, and you take your time out of your day, even if it's just 10 seconds, to leave a comment, because you know that I would really appreciate that. So I want to share that I also do appreciate it, and I do read each and every single one of them. So yeah, sorry, this ended up being a tangent about reading comments, but I want to go back into the build. So another really cool aspect about this build that I really enjoyed doing was being able to make it look like clay and make it pink. I think I've made one other pink build in The Sims, but I don't really explore with color because a lot of the colors that I could explore with, they're too different in shade, so it will make everything look really difficult and really weird when it comes to post. But I've had a lot of fun using the pinks, the corals, the reds in order to make this build. It made it so much more fun, so much just, I don't know. I said at the start of this year I want to explore a lot more maximalism, and I haven't been doing that. I haven't been honoring that. I need to do that a little bit more because I always feel so much happier when I make a colorful build. Because I don't know, there's not a lot of builds out there that I've made that I would actually live in, which sounds really, really bad. It sounds really, really bad, but I'm being very truthful. There's not a lot of places. And when it comes to a home, I'm very specific about it. Even last year, around my birthday, September 9th, I brought out a London townhouse because I was like so like in my feels that this is where I would love to live when I'm older, and now I have absolutely no clue because I don't think I would want to live in a London townhouse. I don't know, it just seems very big. But I do want a big I don't know, I think I want like open space, but I also don't. I want modernism, but I also don't. I just know one thing for sure, I do not want basic. I want to have a very stylized house. So even if it is stylized in a way that is what is that term? I forgot it, where it's the complete opposite of maximalist. Um if it's stylized in a specific way, minimalist, like maximalist, minimalist. I can handle a house that is minimalist if it's stylized in a specific way. So I don't want it to look purposefully empty. I want it to look maybe minimalist futurism kind of like thing. So I just know I don't want a basic looking house. I know that's that for verbatim, but everything else, I have no clue which city I want it in, which country I want it in. I don't know how many floors I want. I don't know how big I want it. I don't know. I don't know anything about where I want to live. I just want to live in a lot of places, which really sucks because that will mean I have to rent a lot of places, which means I won't be able to own a house. But I don't know. I think I kind of want, it's gonna sound really bad. I kind of want my parents to buy a house and then I just rent out a lot of places and then I'll end up settling into wherever my parents decide to leave me. So yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I pick a lot because again, I don't even like my parents' type of interior design. So it'll be very, very, very confusing journey for me. I really loved using all the pinks and everything and using a specific style that just isn't basic white, creams, browns, and everything like that. So that was a lot of fun to do within the game. It was also fun to use a lot of browns and the blacks with the corals because that's something, again, there's a lot of things within specifically interior design because I struggle with that way more than architecture. Um, there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily think will come together and you don't feel like exploring within the Sims until you've seen it in real life, and you have to just trust the process because if it worked out for them it's going to potentially work out for you. And I was really lucky that this time around it actually did end up working out for me. So having this multitude of colors and everything like that, it was a lot of fun. The only other issue I would say, I think the only issue with this place is that you might want to put a fence at the opening of the swimming pool and maybe at the back because people will just walk in because it is such an open space. And one thing as well of what I tried to do in Oasis Springs, I was really annoyed because the sun didn't hit the front, but I'm really happy the sun hits the side of the house, so it just does create this beautiful like this beautiful sunlight within the home itself because I've used the window walls that we got in the base game update, and it is so much fun, guys, having those window walls. Like I love them so much compared to having actual windows within the games because they're a lot less clunky, they feel a lot more clean and more sleek. And I don't know, I really love how they look and I really love how open the space is, even if when it's kind of it's quite closed in together. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's quite compact. I don't know. It's quite small, but it feels very open because of the amount of light you get within the space. So I really like it. And I tried to make it look like a lot of the furniture was potentially second hand, just because I wanted to really lean into the sustainability aspect of it. I made sure to put a lot of greenery, a lot of sand, a lot of everything. I just really wanted to look like Senegal. Is the only problem is the villa is on the coast in the TikTok video, and this is nowhere near a coast. But I don't know. I really like how it came out. It's a lot of fun, and I will be playing in it quite a bit because it is in my celebrity save file. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. It is in Oasis Springs, so it's in the same area where I built the hotel, which was inspired off of North Africa. So I'm imagining now that Oasis Spring is going to be like West Africa meets North Africa type of like space because my hotel was inspired off of a Moroccan hotel I went in, and this is Senegal, so like that kind of like space, that kind of area. But yeah, I really hope you guys like this. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you've got any more ideas of what I could do, maybe inspired off of your culture. Just remember, I can't ever do anything completely one to one because we don't have things in the games that are specifically one to one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to use EmeraldStories to check out if you want to give me a small commission. Goodbye!